Want red beans and rice that taste real nice? Ask Corey, he got the story. Want to make lasagna better than your mama? Ask Corey, he got the story. Want blackened catfish to be your main dish? Ask Corey, he got the story. Want to make gumbo without all the mumbo jumbo? Ask Corey, he got the story. Want a king cake that ain't no fake? Ask Corey, he got the story. Want to make a poor boy that'll bring your mouth joy? Ask Corey, he got the story. Corey Rocan, Food 411.
Welcome to a very special episode of Food 411. So today we are going to learn through experiment how to make the perfect hard-boiled egg. Now I know that sounds simple, I know it sounds silly, a bunch of you are going to say I know how to make a hard-boiled egg, but ask yourself this one question. Does it come out perfect every time where the shell just peels right off? I bet the answer to that is no. And if the answer to that is yes, send me an email because I needed the help. So let me tell you a little story about Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving 2015, I decided to make some hard-boiled eggs. So I went to the store and got some Eggland's Best eggs. I like those because they're a nice quality egg. And anybody who prints their initials on the eggshell has got to be good. So I use these eggs and I boil the eggs. Same thing I've always done. You take the eggs, you put an inch of water on the top of, fill it to there's an inch of water on the top. You boil it. The second it boils, you take it off, you cover it 10 minutes, you stick it in an ice bath for another 5 minutes, you crack the egg, you peel it, and you enjoy it. Well, this time what happened was it starts pitting. Looks like the crater on the moon. It was horrible. So I was like, all right, this is an anomaly. I threw the egg away and said, instead of 6 eggs, I'm going to have 5. Not a big deal. So then I go to the next egg, and it just gets worse. I go to the next egg, it just gets worse. So now I'm getting really frustrated. So I took the pan, and I just threw it down, and I said, that's it, I'm done with cooking, I can't even boil an egg, forget about it, right? So then I calmed down, it's Thanksgiving, I'm 6 eggs in, I got 12 eggs left, I can't go get any more because everything's closed. So I do another batch. And instead of 10 minutes, I do 15 minutes. Instead of 5 minutes in the ice bath, I try 10 minutes. Running water, the whole thing, right? Nothing. Third batch, nothing. Same thing. So I ended up serving cratered eggs, little scrawny things that was really nasty looking. So I'm serving it for Thanksgiving. And I said, look guys, you're going to eat these eggs, and you're going to love it, and you're going to put a smile on your face, and you're going to say it's the best egg you ever had. So they each ate one. And then we were done. So, ever since then I've been on the hunt to find out what's the secret. Everybody's got their own trick, right? We know that new eggs are harder to peel than older eggs because the membrane inside of there starts to separate and get off of the shell as it ages. But realistically, I don't know how long it was from the farm to the grocery store, right? The only thing you can do is look at the expiration date and find one with the newest expiration date. That's the best I got. But I don't know how long it's been from the farm to the grocery store. So I thought I knew all the tricks. So since then, I've done nothing but research and research and research and research to try to find out the best way. So what we did is went to 2 grocery stores and bought 1 batch of each type of egg that they sell. So I have a plethora of eggs, you may say. So we're going to do a series of experiments with each of these types of eggs. We've got new eggs, we've got old eggs, we've got cage-free eggs, we've got brown eggs, we've got organic eggs, we got Martian eggs, we got all the eggs you could ever want. So at the end of this, we are going to find the answer. I even went and bought a steamer. The little thing that you get at Walmart that steams 6 eggs, right? It's supposed to be the perfect egg. So we're even going to test that. So sit back, relax, hold your breath, and if you make the perfect egg, don't comment. But we're going to get to the bottom of this, and by the time we're finished, we're going to have perfect eggs every time. So, enjoy. Alright, where are you? Gotta move this here. This goes here. This goes here. This goes here. And there you are. Welcome to the Eggsperiment extravaganza. So, as you see, we have quite a few eggs. We must get started. So, come along with us to the kitchen and let the fun begin. Alright, so here we are. We have in front of us, maybe to start with, maybe to finish, we have 11 different types of eggs. All different varieties and different various freshness. We've got index cards where we have documented the experiment, and lo and behold, as soon as I say that I'm going to be doing this experiment, guess who shows up? No other than my mother. My mother thinks this is kind of silly because she makes the perfect egg every single time. The problem with that is, I recall having a conversation with her on the telephone where she was complaining about the eggs not peeling. So, Mom, you're not always right. So, we have decided to start the show with her recipe. We're going to take one of each of her eggs and follow her recipe exactly. So, my mother is going to tell us what the recipe is. Hey, darling! So, I don't know why you're doing this show, because cooking eggs is so easy. I know, Mom, but I seem to be having problems with it, so maybe we can stop this whole experiment on round 1. Yeah, you don't need to go any further. This is going to be a short show. Well, let's see. So, what do? Well, you first start by putting about 6 eggs in a pot, and you cover them with cold water till it just barely covers the egg. And if a little bit of the egg peeks over, you're fine. You boil it. As soon as it starts boiling, you boil it for 12 minutes. So that's it. Well, at the end of 12 minutes, let me know, and I'll tell you what to do. All right, Mom. All right, so we're going to try what my mom said. We're going to put one of each of these eggs. Cut. All right, so we have 11 eggs, 6 eggs, 5 eggs. We just covered it with cold water, just enough to cover the egg, just barely. So what we're going to do is we're going to put each of these on the big eye, and we're going to bring them to a boil. The second it gets to a boil, we're going to hit our timer for 12 minutes. So let's get these things boiling. Cut. Alright, so just started rolling boil. So we just hit the clock, 12 minutes. So we're going to see what happens. Cut. Alright, exactly 12 minutes. First inspection, I see a couple eggs have some cracks on them. We'll get some cold water in here as fast as we can. And what she said to do, just get them in the cold water and get the shells cracked a little bit. She had to run to the store, by the way. I'm just going to crack them a little bit. Now, next thing she said to do was really this quick. This is all in real time. Under a light stream of water, she says crack the egg and crack the bottom. The bottom is where there's an air pocket. And we're going to start from the bottom and work our way around under a stream of water. And what she says happens is the water gets in between that membrane. Cut. Cut. Alright, so I'm under the water and doing my best here. It's peeling slightly good. Oh, and just for the record, our record taker, this is egg number 7. Look at that, it's peeling fairly well. Didn't come off in one fell swoop. I'm giving it an inspection. There is a little bit of indentation from that air pocket, which we're going to cover that air pocket in depth later. This will be egg number 2. Getting that air pocket in the bottom. And it is also peeling fairly well. I'm impressed. There's one other test that we're going to perform, so let me go ahead and peel the rest of these, and then I'm going to show you the other test that I want to see if it passes. Alright, so we've just documented peeling all of these eggs. So far, so good. Each of them peeled without cratering not even a single bit, which is very impressive. I will tell you that the easiest of the bunch so far was store brand with the oldest date. Virtually peeled off with what I'm looking for. What I'm really looking for is like a one peel thing. So the next thing that I'm looking for is there is a chemical reaction that happens in eggs if you overcook them. It's like a green ring that goes around the outside of the yolk. And what happens is the hydrogen sulfide in the white reacts with the iron in the yolk, and it creates iron sulfide, which is a green tint. Not very pleasant. I'm also looking for the white not to be rubbery, and I'm looking for the yellow not to be crumbly and brittle. So if this passes, then this might end up being the way to go, and Mom might actually be right. So let's go. I will make one other note. It did vary upon egg to egg, and we're going to give a summation at the end of this. But in the egg, there's an air pocket at the bottom of the egg, and when you're cooking, it expands the air in that pocket, and it can make an indentation. And this is a prime example of one where the bottom of the egg is actually flat. So Julia Childs, I remember, see, the egg can even just sit upright on this one. Julia Childs, I remember, used to use an egg picker, and basically it's almost like a needle that just very carefully punctures the bottom of the egg and collapses that air sac. And it makes a prettier egg, and some say gets the water inside of there. We're going to do that in one of these experiments as well. So the only thing so far that I can say is that air sac did make the appearance of this egg not look as pretty as perfect. So will I say this is the perfect boiled egg? Maybe, maybe not. Not yet. We will see. So we're cutting this open. I'm looking, the egg looks pretty beautiful. I'm taking the yolk out. There's no hint of green. So bear with me while I cut each of these to see if one forms in a different type of egg. So just bear with me, and I'll give you a report in just a minute. Cut. Alright, so between shots, I've been a little bit sad. So that experiment, so we tasted them, we cut them. They don't have the iron sulfide ring. They weren't rubbery. I will say with one holdback, the medium-sized egg was rubbery and it was harder to peel. So for that length of time, I would say that's too much. So I would cut it from probably 12 minutes to 10 minutes. Other than that, it was a perfect experiment. I would say that this case is closed. Now, I did want to try something else before we get all crazy and call this case closed. I do have a lot of eggs, by the way. So, my wife picked me up this little electric deal that steams the egg. So, in my research, I did read that steaming the eggs does work. And the egg pricker that I told you about from Julia Childs, it actually comes with one, which I found very interesting. So I wanted to do this experiment to see if it affected the taste, or if by puncturing that little air bubble that it made a perfectly beautiful egg. I don't know that I could actually ever use one of these when making hard-boiled eggs. I just don't feel right in my heart about it. So I may actually steam it with a steam basket. So that's just me. I'm a little kooky. So read the instructions. Comes with this little measuring cup. Hard-boiled, medium, and soft-boiled eggs. So how easy is that? You can even make an omelet and poached eggs, and it shuts off when it's ready. So we will see. It says about 12 minutes. I'm going to do this exactly right. That's an omelet. And then for this batch of testing, I took the 3 that we noted as the easiest to peel and the 3 that we noted as the hardest to peel to put in this test. So you fill the tray, put our eggs in there, and we go. It's about as exciting as it gets. Sorry, I forgot to poke them. Alright, so we're going to try this and we'll let you know. Cut. Alright, here we are, 12 minutes later. Got my trusty claws. We're going to stick this in cold water. Now, interesting. So we poked the hole in the bottom with the egg picker. It's interesting, there's a little bit of liquid coming out of these things. First time I've ever done that. So, very interesting. So, I'm going to do kind of similar to the last one. Just cold water. Crack them a little bit. We're going to start peeling. So we're going to start off with number 4. Get us a little stream of water going. That seemed to work well. I'm going to cut this membrane. You know what's interesting? I've got a crater. Could it possibly be that my mother's recipe is a superior one? Huh. 2 craters. Whole top of the thing's ripped off. Interesting. That was number 4. Let's try number 11. The instructions for this thing did not say how long to leave it in water. It just said to use ice water or cold water. Number 11 seems to be peeling somewhat better. But it's peeling probably about as easy as the hardest one from my mother's recipe. Now I'm going to number 8. Yep. And you know, the indentation on the back end of this egg didn't go away by puncturing it, by the way. Alright, let me finish peeling these and get back with you in just a second. Alright, so out of the 6 eggs, we had one crater pretty bad. So I'm not going to call that a perfect test. So far, my mom's recipe is by far the best. The easiest to peel was the same easiest to peel on my mom's recipe. It was the store brand with the newest expiration date, so the oldest egg. So far, if I were to say this is the surefire way to do it, I'd go to the grocery store, find a large egg with the newest expiration date, so the oldest egg, and you got a surefire win. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to do the iron sulfide test to see if there's any green ring around it. These are perfectly cooked. I do want to add one thing. The small eggs were no-go in both of these. It was the medium eggs, no bueno. They were hard to peel in both. So these actually look good, taste good. Just what you want from an egg. It's not rubbery. It's good. So I would say in a pinch, if you're not the best cook out there, you want to get the automatic thing, I think it's a surefire way to do it. But as you see from this egg, it is a hot mess, my friends. So stay tuned, we'll do another experiment. Cut. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to test one thing before we move on. Is we're going to take my mother's recipe, so that seems to be the best so far, and we are going to use the Julia Child's method of piercing that sack, if you will, in the bottom with the air in it, and we're going to see if it can make it any better. So here we go again. And I wanted to correct one thing from the earlier mom's recipe. We went back and watched the tape, and I said that we had cooked it 12 minutes. We actually cooked it for 10 minutes. So that's very important. Roll and boil 10 minutes, not 12. Sorry about that, Mom. I'm sure you've cursed the TV a little bit. But so far, you know, this was supposed to be a weekend-long experiment, and we started off with my mom's, and we started off with like the best one first, it appears. This is just absolutely incredible. So kudos, Mom. Sorry for second guessing you. So, so we got our eggs in here. We got all 11 eggs in here. Again, high heat. Roll and boil. Then we'll hit 10 minutes, and we're going to try to see what the Julia Child's method does to these eggs. So, see ya. Alright, so we did my mom's recipe. We got the crack, the pinprick in the back, the Julia Child's trick, and we're going to see if that changes anything from a really nearly perfect recipe. Look at that. That's about as perfect as you can get. At this point, I'm not collecting data, because obviously we don't need it. We're going to do a couple more, we're going to do at least one more experiment to make sure that it's not a fluke. And the other recipes that we tried before, that all the professional chefs and
scientists said to do aren't worse or better or whatever. So anyway, we're going to try those. So stay tuned. If you want to watch and have some fun, stay tuned. If not, you have now learned how to make the perfect boiled egg with pretty much any type of egg except for, as we see, medium-sized eggs. So if you want to use this exact recipe, see, this perfect example, this is the medium-sized egg, and we would have to alter the cooking time, I think, for this to work. It's overcooked it just a little bit. It's still peeling without cratering, but it is a little more difficult. Trying to make an evaluation whether the pinprick method does anything or not. It still has the indentation. I'm going to call that one busted. Alright, so now we've seen that my mom's recipe seems to be the one that has held the best. We're going to go back to what many of the experts say is the best way. Because you don't know exactly how fresh an egg is, some of the experts recommend to add baking soda to the water to lower the pH, and that's supposed to penetrate through the shell and help loosen up that membrane. So what they say to do, cold water, I have 6 eggs here, 5 eggs here, and to cover the eggs by 1 inch. So a little bit more water than in my mom's recipe. Hers was just barely cover the eggs. In this case, we're going to cover the eggs and then an additional 1 inch. Then we're going to take half a teaspoon of baking soda and add that to the pot. We're going to bring these to a rolling boil. The second it starts boiling, you're going to put them onto the cool spots of the eye. We're going to cover them with a tight covered lid, and we're going to let them soak for probably 12 to 15 minutes. It depends. Julia Child said 17 minutes. Some say 15, some say 12, some say 10. The recipe that I'm going with today from a group of cooks / scientists that I really trust, I'm going to go with their recommendation of 10 minutes. We're going to then bring it to an ice bath and let that ice bath hit it for 5 minutes. So let's give this a shot. Alright, these things have been sitting in an ice bath for 5 minutes. So we did a couple of different things. We did the regular recipe that I told you. We did one soaking for 10 minutes, the other soaking for 12 minutes. They've both been soaking in an ice bath for 5 minutes, and now it's time to see what we got. Horrible. Very difficult to peel. This one looks like it will possibly peel. 2 craters. Look at it. It's a mess. Did the baking soda, did the whole thing. It's the membrane is just sticking to it. Yeah, this is what I did on Thanksgiving. Can you guys see how frustrated I was? That's just... See, I was all peaceful, I was calm, now I'm having to relive all of this. We're going to try, I'm going to find number 8. Number 8 was the easiest to peel in every situation. This method is just simply, yep, it's not working at all. I want to see what the yolk looks like. Texture's good. Yolk looks a tad undercooked, actually. It's not flaky. So let's see if I can find number 8. Alright, number 8. This was our star. In all of our experiments, this is the one that peeled with the greatest of ease. And this, too, is a complete mess. Yes. I'm getting irritated again. Look at that. It's just falling apart. Looks like a moon crater. So, yep.
Is this what you would serve to your guests? I think not.
So we were lucky enough to nail this on the first go round.
So, we're going to call this one done. So until next time, see ya. I cannot believe this. I have spent this entire weekend buying eggs. I've researched for 2 weeks. I've consulted experts. And my mom's recipe nails it on the first shot. What am I going to do with all of these eggs? How am I going to even call my mom? Are you filming this? Are you serious right now? Get that off.